The massive alien warship loomed ahead, its crystalline surface reflecting the distant stars like a dark mirror. Inside Earth's hastily retrofitted cargo freighter, Chief Engineer Chen gripped his console as warning lights flashed across the screen. Their makeshift weapons were failing, humanity's last desperate defense crumbling against technology centuries beyond their understanding. Main cannon offline. Secondary systems critical, shouted his assistant through the static-filled comm. The ship shuddered as another alien energy beam sliced through their defensive shields like paper. Through the viewport, Chen watched 3 more Earth vessels explode in silent bursts of light and debris. They were losing. Humanity was losing. But then Chen noticed something odd on his readings, a pattern in the alien attack sequence. His eyes widened as decades of experience maintaining Earth's shipping fleet sparked an impossible idea. The aliens were using incredibly advanced technology, yes, but they were using it in incredibly predictable ways. All ships, this is Chen, he broadcast on the emergency channel. Cut your engines on my mark and vent your reactor coolant. The other captains protested it was suicide to power down in the middle of combat. But they were dead anyway if something didn't change. Trust me, Chen said quietly. Sometimes the smartest machine can be outsmarted by the simplest trick. The alien flagship was charging its main weapon, a beam that could vaporize a small moon. Their crystal ships moved in perfect geometric formations, each maneuver calculated with mathematical precision. Too perfect. Too precise. Now! Chen shouted. Across the battlefield, the remaining Earth ships killed their engines and released clouds of radioactive coolant into space. The freezing liquid instantly crystallized in the vacuum, creating a chaotic field of reflective particles. The alien targeting systems, designed to track engine signatures and calculate trajectories, went haywire. Their perfect formations shattered as automated systems tried to dodge phantom signals and mirror images. When they fired their superweapon, the beam scattered and refracted through the crystalline cloud, several beams striking their own ships. In the chaos, Chen's ship managed to slip through their lines. They were in range now, so close he could see the intricate patterns etched into the alien hull. He triggered their last weapon, not a fancy energy beam or plasma torpedo, but something much older and simpler, a container of liquid metal mining explosives, the kind used to crack open asteroids. The alien shields, calibrated to stop energy weapons, didn't even register the primitive projectile. It struck their hull and detonated, setting off a chain reaction through their crystalline structure. The mighty flagship began to crack apart from within, its own power turning against it. Hit them again. Chen ordered. Everything we've got, the dumber the better. Across the battlefield, Earth's ships launched a barrage of mining charges, harpoons, and industrial cutting tools, ancient technology that the alien defenses never evolved to stop. One by one, their perfect crystal ships shattered and went dark. Through the chaos of battle, Chen allowed himself a small smile. Sometimes the simplest solution was the best one. Sometimes human ingenuity could outthink even the most advanced artificial intelligence. The battle wasn't over, far from it. But in that moment, humanity had proven that they weren't helpless. They had shown that determination, creativity, and the willingness to try impossible things could overcome even the most overwhelming odds. As Chen watched the alien flagship break apart, he knew this was just the beginning. The real war was about to start. But now they had hope, and sometimes that was the most powerful weapon of all. 6 months earlier, life on Earth changed forever. It began with a strange signal, detected by radio telescopes across the globe. At first, scientists thought it was just another mysterious space phenomenon, but within hours, the truth became clear: we were receiving a message from an advanced alien civilization. The United Nations called an emergency meeting as astronomers worked day and night to decode the signal. What they found chilled them to the bone. It wasn't a greeting or an offer of friendship, it was a warning. Or more accurately, a threat. Your planet has been chosen for integration, the message stated in perfectly translated text. Resistance will result in elimination. Prepare for our arrival in 6 months. In a secret facility deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Chen sat in a crowded room with other top scientists and military leaders from around the world. The air was thick with tension as satellite images showed the alien fleet's approach. Hundreds of crystal ships, each larger than the biggest Earth battleship, moving with impossible precision through the outer solar system. Their technology is beyond anything we've ever seen, explained Dr. Wang, the lead analyst. She pointed to various readings and scans. Their ships appear to be grown rather than built, using some kind of living crystal. They can manipulate gravity, energy, even space-time itself. Chen studied the data carefully. He'd spent 30 years solving problems in the commercial space industry, finding ways to keep old ships running when replacement parts weren't available. What about their behavior patterns? He asked. How do they think? That's the interesting part, Dr. Wang replied. All their ships move in perfect synchronization. We believe they're controlled by a central artificial intelligence. There's no sign of individual crew or human-like decision-making. The room erupted in argument. Some wanted to surrender immediately, hoping to save lives. Others insisted on fighting, even against impossible odds. But Chen tuned them out, his mind working on the problem from a different angle. Perfection could be a weakness if you looked at it the right way. Over the next few days, a plan began to form. Earth's governments united for the first time in history, pooling resources and setting aside old conflicts. Every factory and shipyard was converted to produce space vessels and weapons. But not the kind of weapons anyone expected. We can't match their technology, Chen explained to the world leaders. So we need to think differently. Use our limitations as advantages. Create weapons so simple, their advanced systems won't know how to counter them. Teams of engineers worked around the clock, converting cargo ships and mining vessels into makeshift warships. They stripped away complex targeting computers, replacing them with manual controls. Instead of trying to develop advanced energy weapons, they focused on physical projectiles, mining explosives, and industrial tools. The aliens think in terms of perfect mathematics and energy manipulation, Chen told his team. But space is messy. Chaos is natural. We need to embrace that. Training began immediately. Pilots learned to fly without relying on automated systems. Gunners practiced manual targeting. Engineers studied ways to use simple tools in unexpected ways. Everyone knew they were vastly outgunned, but there was a growing sense of purpose, of humanity coming together to face an impossible challenge. The first sign that their strategy might work came from an unexpected source. A small alien scout ship appeared near Mars, apparently testing Earth's defenses. A converted mining vessel, crewed by veteran asteroid miners, engaged it in battle. The alien ship's energy weapons were devastating, but they were aimed by predictable computer algorithms. The mining vessel's crew, used to navigating chaotic asteroid fields, flew in irregular patterns that confused the targeting systems. They got close enough to launch their cargo, a cloud of simple metal ball bearings. The alien ship's shields, designed to stop energy weapons, didn't register the primitive projectiles as a threat. The bearings shredded through its crystal hull, causing massive damage. Though the mining vessel was destroyed in the battle, they proved that humanity's strategy could work. We found their weakness, Chen announced to the War Council. Their technology is so advanced, so perfect, that they've lost the ability to handle imperfection. They don't understand human unpredictability. But even as hope grew, the main alien fleet drew closer. Early warning systems tracked their approach through the asteroid belt, their crystal ships moving in beautiful, terrifying formations. Earth had less than 2 months to prepare for the greatest battle in human history. In his private moments, Chen worried. They were betting everything on this strategy, on the idea that human creativity could overcome technological superiority. If they were wrong, humanity would pay the ultimate price. But looking at the teams working together, seeing former enemies now united in common cause, he knew they had already achieved something remarkable. Whether they won or lost, humanity had proven they could face any challenge together. The final preparations began. Every available ship was retrofitted for battle. Every pilot and crew trained to their limits. As the alien fleet approached, Earth prepared to show that sometimes the oldest solutions were the best ones, and that human ingenuity could overcome any obstacle. In a repurposed aircraft hangar outside Houston, Chen watched as his engineering team worked on their latest prototype. The massive space was filled with an odd mix of high-tech equipment and surprisingly basic tools. Sparks flew as welders modified old mining equipment, while computers ran simulations of alien attack patterns. "It's not working," called out his lead engineer, Lin, from beneath a modified cargo launcher. "The targeting system keeps trying to correct itself. It's too smart for its own good." She pushed herself out, wiping grease from her hands. Like many on the team, she'd been working nearly 20 hours a day. Chen walked over to examine the launcher. It was originally designed to deploy satellites, but they were converting it to fire their makeshift weapons. "What if we remove the targeting computer entirely?" he suggested. "Go completely manual?" Lin looked at him like he was crazy. "Manual targeting? In space combat? That's..." She paused, considering. "That's exactly the kind of crazy thinking we need." Across the hangar, other teams were working on equally unconventional projects. One group had stripped down a mining laser, making it less precise but more powerful. Another was experimenting with different types of industrial waste as makeshift projectiles. "The aliens expect us to try matching their technology," Chen explained during the daily briefing. "They're prepared for energy weapons, plasma beams, advanced targeting systems. But they're not prepared for what they'd consider primitive solutions." The team's first major breakthrough came from an unexpected source. A maintenance worker noticed how ice crystals formed patterns on the hangar's old windows. This led to the development of their cloud weapon, the release of coolant that would crystallize in space, creating chaotic reflective fields. But not everything worked. Their attempt to use electromagnetic pulses failed completely. The alien ships were too well shielded. Several prototype weapons exploded during testing. Each failure taught them something new about both alien technology and their own limitations. "We're thinking too much like engineers," Chen realized one night, staring at failed test results. "We need to think like improvisers, like survivors." He gathered the team for a new approach. Instead of trying to design new weapons, they started looking at everyday space industry tools in new ways. Mining charges, normally used to break up asteroids, could be modified to shatter crystal hulls. Maintenance nanites, used to repair ship hulls, could potentially disrupt alien crystal structures. The real challenge was delivery. The alien ships could detect and destroy anything with a significant energy signature. The solution came from studying old naval warfare, specifically, how submarines could hide from sonar. "We need to make our ships quiet," Chen explained. "Not just electronically quiet, but quiet in every way they might detect. Like ghosts in space." This led to the development of their silent running protocol, shutting down all non-essential systems and masking their energy signatures. Training crews to use these modified systems proved equally challenging. Pilots accustomed to relying on computers had to learn to trust their instincts. Weapons officers had to master manual targeting techniques that hadn't been used in decades. "It's like teaching someone to ride a bicycle," Lin observed. "The more you think about it, the harder it gets. You have to feel it." She developed training simulations that deliberately limited computer assistance, forcing crews to develop new skills. Time was running out. The alien fleet had passed Mars, and early observation showed they were even more formidable than feared. Their crystal ships moved with impossible grace, their weapons capable of destroying mountains. But as Chen watched his team work, he saw something the aliens couldn't predict: human adaptability. Every failure led to new ideas. Every problem sparked creative solutions. People worked beyond exhaustion, driven by a shared purpose. The final breakthrough came just 3 weeks before the expected alien arrival. They discovered that the crystal ship's perfect formations weren't just for show, they were necessary for their shared AI to function optimally. Disrupt the formation, and you could disrupt their coordination. It's like a flock of birds, Chen explained to the military command. Break up the pattern, and even their advanced AI will struggle to adapt. They're too dependent on perfection, on everything working exactly as calculated. The plan was coming together, but it was incredibly risky. They would have one chance to prove that human ingenuity, creativity, and determination could overcome technological superiority. Every modified ship, every improvised weapon, every trained crew would have to perform perfectly imperfectly. As the team made their final preparations, Chen found Lin working late one night, making adjustments to their main prototype. "Do you think this will actually work?" she asked quietly. Chen looked around the hangar. At all they'd accomplished in just a few months. "I think we've already proven something important," he replied. "When humans are pushed to their limits, that's when we're most creative. That's when we find solutions nobody else would think of." They both knew the real test was coming. The alien fleet would arrive soon, and all their theories, all their improvised solutions, would face the ultimate challenge. But they had done everything possible to prepare. Now it was time to show the universe what human ingenuity could achieve. The first alien scout ships appeared at the edge of Earth's defense perimeter on a quiet Tuesday morning. 3 crystal vessels, each the size of a naval destroyer, emerged from light speed in a perfect triangular formation. They moved with an eerie grace, their surfaces reflecting the sun like frozen diamonds. In the command center beneath the Rocky Mountains, Chen watched the sensor readings with growing tension. "Time to test our theories," he said quietly. The room hummed with nervous energy as officers relayed orders to the defense fleet. Following their new strategy, only 3 Earth ships moved to intercept converted mining vessels, chosen for their sturdy construction and experienced crews. They appeared clumsy compared to the alien vessels, but that was part of the plan. "Remember your training," Chen spoke into the calm. "Don't try to match their precision. Be unpredictable. Be human." The crews acknowledged, their voices steady despite the enormous pressure. They had trained for months, but this was the real thing. The alien ships made the first move. Beams of pure energy lanced out, moving at near light speed. But the Earth ships were already moving erratically, their paths random and chaotic. Most of the beams missed, though one grazed a ship's hull, leaving a glowing scar. "Now," ordered Captain Rodriguez of the lead Earth ship. "Launch the first package." What looked like ordinary space debris erupted from their cargo holds, chunks of metal, old satellite parts, frozen coolant. The alien ships easily avoided the larger pieces, their movements precise and calculated. But that was exactly what Chen had predicted. "Their targeting systems are locked on our engine signatures," he explained to the command staff. "They're ignoring the debris because it's not powered. Watch what happens next." The space junk spread out, creating a chaotic field of orbiting hazards. The alien ships maintained their perfect formation, but now they had to constantly adjust their positions. Their shared AI was being forced to solve thousands of trajectory calculations every second. That's when the Earth ships launched their real weapons, simple guided rockets, carrying mining charges. In the confusion of tracking debris, the alien sensors missed the relatively primitive projectiles until it was too late. The explosion wasn't particularly large. But it didn't need to be. The crystal structure of the nearest alien ship began to crack, the damage spreading like spider webs across its surface. Its perfect formation broken, the other 2 ships seemed to hesitate, their AI struggling to adapt to the unexpected situation. But the aliens were far from beaten. Their response was devastating. Energy beams sliced through space with new intensity, this time finding their targets. One Earth ship exploded instantly. Another lost its main engines. "Hold steady," Chen urged the remaining crew. "Remember Phase 2. Captain Rodriguez's ship was heavily damaged, but still maneuverable. Following their plan, they vented their remaining coolant directly into space. The liquid instantly crystallized, creating a cloud of reflective particles almost identical to the debris from the damaged alien ship. The alien targeting systems, already struggling with the debris field, now faced an environment they couldn't properly analyze. Their perfect coordination began to break down. When they fired their energy weapons, the beams scattered unpredictably through the crystalline cloud. "It's working," Lynn whispered, watching the sensor data. "Their AI can't handle the chaos." The final moments of the battle happened quickly. The remaining Earth ship, piloted by veteran asteroid miners, dove through the debris field in a maneuver that would have been suicide for the computer-controlled alien vessels. They got close enough to launch their entire remaining payload, a barrage of modified mining charges and simple metal projectiles. 2 alien ships shattered under the assault, their crystal structures failing catastrophically. The third managed to escape, jumping to light speed, but not before taking significant damage. In the command center, the victory celebration was muted. They had lost 2 ships and many good people. But they had proven their strategy could work. Human unpredictability, combined with simple but effective weapons, could overcome superior technology. "They'll adapt," Chen cautioned during the post-battle briefing. "Their AI will learn from this encounter. But so will we." He studied the battle recordings, already seeing ways to improve their tactics. The cost had been high, but they had gained something priceless: hope. Earth's first real space battle had ended in victory, not through superior technology, but through human creativity and courage. As teams began recovering debris from both Earth and alien ships, Chen received an urgent message. Long-range sensors had detected increased activity in the main alien fleet. They were accelerating their approach. "They're coming sooner than expected," Lin reported. "The scout ships must have transmitted what happened." Chen nodded grimly. They had won their first skirmish, but the real battle was approaching faster than anyone had planned. Now they had to take what they'd learned and prepare for a fight that would determine the fate of humanity. Looking at the sensor data, he felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. They had proven their theories worked, but could they scale up these tactics to face hundreds of alien ships? The next few weeks would give them their answer. The breakthrough came at 3 a.m. in the Houston facility's break room. Chen had fallen asleep over his coffee, surrounded by data readings from the recent scout ship battle. He woke suddenly, staring at a coffee stain on his papers that had merged with a diagram of alien flight patterns. "That's it," he whispered, fully awake now. "We've been looking at it wrong." He rushed to find Lin, who was still working in the main hangar despite the late hour. The alien ships didn't just move in formation, they thought in formation. Their shared AI wasn't just coordinating their actions, it was literally spreading its consciousness across multiple vessels. Like a living crystal growing in perfect symmetry. "Look at these readings from the battle," Chen explained to his bleary-eyed team, hastily assembled in the control room. "When we broke their formation, we didn't just disrupt their tactics. We disrupted their ability to think." This realization changed everything. They didn't need to destroy the alien ships, they just needed to force them to think individually. Like separating a supercomputer into individual laptops, each one far less powerful alone. The team worked frantically to modify their strategy. They stripped down more advanced systems from Earth's ships, replacing them with basic mechanical controls. The less technology they used, the harder it was for the alien AI to predict their actions. "It's like teaching a chess computer to play Calvin ball," Lin explained to the military commanders, referring to the famously chaotic game where rules changed constantly. "Their AI can't calculate the optimal response because there isn't one. They developed new weapons using this principle. Simple metal projectiles coated with irregular patterns that confused alien sensors. Clouds of charged particles that created unpredictable magnetic fields. Even old-style radio broadcasts on random frequencies that created noise in their communication networks. But their greatest innovation came from an unlikely source, a janitor who used to work in demolition. He noticed how the alien crystal ships reminded him of large glass buildings, and how demolition experts could bring down entire structures by striking specific weak points. This led to the development of what they called resonance charges, simple explosive devices that could create vibrations matching the natural frequency of alien crystal structures. Like an opera singer shattering a wine glass with the right note. Testing these new weapons proved challenging. They had recovered fragments of crystal from the destroyed scout ships, but they needed more data. Chen made the risky decision to conduct live-fire experiments in space, knowing it might attract alien attention. The results exceeded their wildest hopes. When struck with the resonance charges, the crystal fragments didn't just break, they shattered in ways that created chain reactions through their structure. The same perfect symmetry that made the alien ships so powerful could become their greatest weakness. "We found their Achilles heel," Chen announced during the emergency briefing with world leaders. "Their technology is so advanced, so perfect, that it can't handle imperfection. Like a person who's lived in a sterile environment suddenly exposed to ordinary bacteria." But implementing this discovery wouldn't be easy. They had less than a week before the main alien fleet arrived. Every ship in Earth's defense force needed to be modified with the new weapons. Every crew needed to learn new tactics. The world's factories worked around the clock, producing simple but effective weapons based on their breakthrough. Shipyards modified vessels to carry the resonance charges. Training centers ran constant simulations, teaching crews how to create maximum chaos in space combat. Chen barely slept, moving from project to project, solving problems as they arose. During one rare quiet moment, Lin found him staring at a prototype resonance charge. "Having doubts?" she asked. "Not about the technology," he replied. "I'm wondering if we're ready for what happens if this works. We're about to prove that human ingenuity can overcome any technological advantage. That's going to change everything, win or lose." Lin nodded, understanding. Their work wasn't just about defeating the aliens, it was about proving what humanity could achieve when pushed to its limits. Every solution they developed, every problem they overcame, showed that creativity and determination could triumph over seemingly impossible odds. The final pieces of their plan came together just as long-range sensors detected the main alien fleet entering the inner solar system. Hundreds of crystal ships, moving in complex formations that seemed to defy physics. But now, looking at those same formations, Chen saw vulnerability where before he had only seen overwhelming power. The very precision that made them so formidable would become a weakness when faced with human unpredictability. "All ships, all stations," he broadcast to the defense fleet. "Remember your training. Don't try to fight them on their terms. Be unpredictable. Be human. Trust your instincts." The greatest battle in human history was about to begin. And thanks to their breakthrough, humanity had a fighting chance. With only 5 days until the alien fleet's arrival, the largest training operation in human history kicked into high gear. Every space center, military base, and converted facility around the globe worked non-stop to prepare Earth's defenders. Inside a massive simulator complex near Cape Canaveral, Chen watched as crews practiced their new tactics. The simulator pods, originally designed for commercial space training, had been reprogrammed to mimic both alien attack patterns and the modified Earth ships. "You're still thinking too predictably," he called over the comm as a crew failed their run. "Forget everything you learned about proper space combat. I want to see chaos." The next simulation run showed improvement. The pilot used irregular movements that would have made any flight instructor cringe, but would confuse alien targeting systems. Lin had developed what she called the drunk butterfly technique, a way of flying that appeared random but actually preserved enough control for offensive maneuvers. It was incredibly difficult to master, requiring pilots to suppress years of training. "It goes against everything we know about space combat," a veteran pilot complained during a briefing. "You're asking us to fly like amateurs." "Exactly," Chen replied. "Because amateurs are unpredictable. The alien AI expects perfection. Show it imperfection, and it won't know how to respond." The weapons training was equally unconventional. Gunners learned to fire their resonance charges not at where alien ships were, but where the formation patterns suggested they would be forced to move. Like a chess player thinking several moves ahead, but with deliberate randomness built in. Support crews practiced rapid deployment of their chaos weapons, the clouds of crystallized coolant, irregular debris fields, and resonance mine patterns that would disrupt alien formations. Timing was crucial: too early and the aliens would adapt, too late and they'd be destroyed. Every hour of training revealed new challenges. The resonance charges had to be perfectly calibrated, too weak and they wouldn't shatter the crystal ships, too strong and they'd destroy themselves. The chaos clouds had to be deployed in specific patterns that looked random but actually created maximum disruption. It's like teaching someone to deliberately fail in exactly the right way, Lynn observed during a late-night strategy session. We're turning human error into a weapon. The psychological aspect was perhaps the hardest to master. Crews had to overcome their natural instinct to retreat from overwhelming force. Instead, they needed to embrace chaos, to fly directly into situations that every rational calculation said was suicide. To help with this, Chen brought in unusual training experts, stunt drivers, freestyle dancers, even stage magicians. People who understood how to make controlled chaos look natural. Their insights proved invaluable in developing new tactics. Don't think of it as a battle, a stunt coordinator explained to a group of pilots. Think of it as a performance where the audience, the alien AI, needs to be constantly surprised. The breakthrough came when crews stopped trying to win the simulations and started focusing on creating maximum disruption. Success wasn't measured in destroyed targets, but in how thoroughly they could break up alien formations and create confusion. 3 days before the expected battle, Chen organized a full-scale practice run. Every available ship and crew participated in a coordinated exercise that simulated the coming conflict. The results were both encouraging and terrifying. "We're ready," he told the world's leaders afterward, "but it won't be pretty. This won't look like any battle in human history. It's going to look like complete chaos." Some of the military commanders were clearly uncomfortable with the strategy. It went against centuries of tactical doctrine. But the success of their encounter with the scout ships had proven the concept. Now they just had to scale it up to face hundreds of alien vessels. In the final days, Chen visited as many crews as possible, answering questions and offering encouragement. The fear was still there, but it was mixed with a growing confidence. They had a plan, they had trained, and most importantly, they had something the aliens didn't expect: human unpredictability. Remember, he told them, every great advancement in human history came when someone did something unexpected. When they ignored what was supposed to work and tried something new. That's our greatest strength. The night before the alien fleet's expected arrival, Chen found Lin making final adjustments to the training simulators. They both knew that tomorrow, theory would become reality. "Do you think they know what's coming?" she asked. "The aliens, I mean. Do you think they can imagine what we're about to do?" Chen smiled, thinking about how far they'd come, how much they'd accomplished in so little time. "That's exactly why we have a chance," he replied. "They can't imagine it. They don't understand that sometimes the best solution is the one that makes the least sense." As Earth's defenders made their final preparations, there was a shared feeling of nervous anticipation. They were about to fight an enemy with vastly superior technology, using tactics that defied conventional wisdom. But they had trained, they were ready, and they were about to show the universe what humans could do. The alien fleet arrived at dawn. Long-range sensors detected them dropping out of light speed, hundreds of crystal ships emerging like a shower of diamonds against the black of space. Their formation was even more complex than expected, ships arranged in geometric patterns that seemed to ripple and flow with impossible grace. Earth's defense fleet waited in carefully planned positions, crews tense but ready. They had trained for this moment, but seeing the actual scale of the alien armada made their hearts sink. Each crystal ship was larger than anything humanity had ever built, their surfaces gleaming with barely contained energy. "All ships, maintain radio silence," Chen ordered from the command center. "Remember your training. Wait for them to make the first move." He watched the tactical display, hoping their strategy would work on this scale. The aliens didn't wait long. Their first attack came without warning, a coordinated blast from dozens of ships that lit up space like a new sun. Earth's outer defense line, mainly automated platforms and early warning systems, vanished instantly. "Hold position," Chen urged as crews called in their shock at the display of power. "Let them think they have us figured out." The alien fleet advanced in perfect unison, their formation shifting like a living thing. Earth's ships appeared clumsy and primitive in comparison, seemingly scattered randomly across space. When the aliens came within range, they launched their main assault. Energy beams sliced through space, targeting Earth's largest ships first. The defensive screens, improved after the scout ship battle, held for a few precious seconds before failing. "Echo Squadron, you're up," Chen called. The designated ships began their carefully planned response, but something went wrong. The alien attacks came faster than their simulations had predicted, more coordinated, more deadly. 3 Earth ships exploded before they could launch their chaos weapons. Another 4 were crippled, their crews frantically calling for help. The command center filled with damage reports and desperate communications. "They've adapted," Lin realized, studying the sensor data. "They learned from the scout ship battle. They're not just targeting our ships, they're targeting the space where they predict we'll deploy our countermeasures." Chen watched in horror as their carefully planned strategy fell apart. The aliens had anticipated their tactics and developed counters. Earth ships were being destroyed faster than they could implement their chaotic defense patterns. "Fall back to secondary positions," he ordered, his voice steady despite the growing disaster. "All ships, emergency protocol Delta." They had planned for this possibility, but implementing the backup plan meant accepting massive casualties. The retreat was devastating. Crystal ships pursued the fleeing Earth vessels, their weapons turning space into a killing field. Escape pods and debris filled the void, each representing lost lives and shattered hopes. In the command center, screens showed the mounting losses. A third of Earth's fleet was already destroyed or disabled. The alien formation pressed forward, seemingly unstoppable, their perfect coordination more terrifying than ever. "We need to try something different," Lin said, her voice tight with tension. "They've countered everything we planned for. We need to improvise." Chen nodded grimly. They had trained their crews to be unpredictable, but now they needed to be truly random. "All ships," he broadcast, "abandon standard chaos patterns. I repeat. Abandon all planned maneuvers. Act on instinct. Do the unexpected." The order was met with confusion at first. Crews had trained extensively for specific tactics, even if those tactics were designed to appear random. Now they were being told to truly improvise in the middle of the most important battle in human history. Some ships broke formation entirely, making suicidal runs at the alien fleet. Others tried desperate maneuvers that went against all space combat logic. The result was pure chaos, but not the controlled chaos they had planned for. "Look," Lin pointed to a sector of the battle. A group of Earth ships had accidentally created a new type of interference pattern with their emergency maneuvers. The alien ships in that sector showed momentary confusion, their perfect formation wavering. But before they could capitalize on this observation, another wave of alien attacks swept through Earth's defenses. More ships were lost, more crews silenced. The command center's displays showed their forces being pushed back toward Earth, the alien fleet advancing methodically despite their desperate resistance. "We need to regroup," Chen decided finally. "All remaining ships, fall back to the lunar defense line. We need time to analyze what we've learned." As the surviving Earth ships retreated behind the moon, the scale of their defeat became clear. Nearly half their fleet was gone, and they had barely scratched the alien vessels. Their carefully planned strategies had failed against the aliens' superior technology and coordination. Chen looked at the tactical display, watching the alien fleet's methodical advance. They had underestimated their enemy's ability to adapt, to learn from the scout ship encounter. Now they needed to come up with a new plan, and quickly. "Send all battle data to the analysis team," he ordered. "Every sensor reading, every tactical log. There has to be something we missed, something we can use." The lunar defense platforms engaged the alien fleet, buying time with their sacrifice. Earth's remaining ships regrouped, crews shaken but determined. They had lost the first major battle, but the war wasn't over. In the darkness of the command center, Chen and Lin began analyzing the battle data, searching desperately for a new way to fight. They had hours at most before the aliens would reach Earth. Hours to find a solution, or watch their world fall. Behind the moon's protective bulk, Chen stared at the battle data until his eyes burned. Something wasn't adding up. The alien ships had adapted too perfectly to their tactics, almost as if. "They're not just predicting our moves," he said suddenly, straightening up. "They're predicting our predictions. Show me the formation patterns again." Lin quickly brought up the holographic display. The alien fleet's movements played out like a deadly dance, their responses to Earth's tactics impossibly precise. "Look at that," Chen pointed. "When we create chaos, they create order. Perfect, mathematical order. What if that's not just their strategy, but their weakness?" His mind raced with a new possibility. "They're not adapting, they're over-adapting." He called an emergency meeting with the remaining ship commanders. As they gathered via secure channels, Chen explained his theory. The alien AI doesn't just want to win, it needs to create perfect solutions. Every time we introduce chaos, it responds with increasingly perfect patterns. It's like an immune system overreacting to a threat. The commanders listened skeptically as Chen outlined his wild idea. Instead of trying to outthink the alien AI, they needed to overwhelm it with so much chaos that it would essentially crash trying to create perfect solutions. "We're not going to win by being unpredictable," Chen explained. "We're going to win by making the aliens too predictable." The plan was insane. They would deliberately sacrifice ships to create specific patterns of debris and energy signatures. Each loss would force the alien AI to generate increasingly complex response patterns. Like a computer forced to solve more and more complex equations until it overheats. "It's suicide," one commander objected. "No," Lin interrupted, understanding Chen's logic. "It's sacrifice with a purpose. Every ship we lose will make their formation more perfect, more rigid. Until they can't adapt anymore," Chen finished. "Until their need for perfect solutions becomes their downfall." The preparation was hasty, but precise. Every remaining ship was given specific coordinates and timing. They would only get one chance at this. As the alien fleet rounded the moon, they found Earth's remaining ships arranged in an apparently random pattern. The aliens responded exactly as Chen had predicted. Their formation shifted to create a mathematically perfect counterformation. "Begin Phase 1, Chen ordered. The first wave of Earth ships launched their attacks, deliberately missing their targets, but creating complex patterns of debris and energy readings. The alien fleet responded by shifting into an even more elaborate formation. Phase 2. More ships moved in, their seemingly chaotic movements actually carefully calculated to force specific responses from the alien AI. With each move, the crystal ships arranged themselves in increasingly intricate patterns, their shared consciousness trying to solve an ever more complex tactical puzzle. "Look at their power readings," Lin reported excitedly. "The more perfect their formation becomes, the more energy they're using to maintain it." The alien fleet's movements were becoming almost beautiful in their complexity, but also more rigid, more predictable. They were locked into patterns of their own making, their AI unable to stop trying to create perfect solutions to the chaos around them. "Now," Chen ordered. "All ships, execute final phase." Earth's remaining fleet split into precisely coordinated groups, their movements creating a cascade of chaos that rippled through space. The alien formation responded, shifting into its most complex pattern yet, and that's when it happened. The crystal ship's perfect symmetry became their undoing. As their AI struggled to maintain increasingly elaborate patterns, stress fractures appeared in their formation. Ships collided as minimal errors were magnified across their network. Their shared consciousness, overwhelmed by its own need for perfection, began to break down. "Push harder," Chen commanded. "Don't let up." Earth ships pressed their advantage, no longer trying to destroy the alien vessels but instead forcing them to respond, to calculate, to perfect their patterns until they couldn't maintain them anymore. The first major break in the alien fleet came suddenly. A section of their formation shattered, crystal ships spinning out of control as their shared network failed. The breakdown spread like cracks through ice, each failure causing more disruption, more chaos. All ships, launch resonance charges, Chen ordered. Hit them while they're locked in pattern. The weapons found their marks. Crystal ships, straining to maintain their perfect formation, couldn't evade. The resonance charges shattered their structures, each destruction adding to the chaos that overwhelmed their AI. In the command center, Chen and Lin watched as their desperate gamble paid off. The alien fleet's magnificent formation collapsed into disorder. Individual ships, cut off from their network, fell into confusion. Some tried to retreat, others fired randomly, many simply drifted. Send in the cleanup teams, Chen ordered. Take out any ship still capable of fighting. Earth's surviving vessels moved methodically through the battlefield, dispatching damaged alien ships and rescuing escape pods. The tide had turned. Human ingenuity had found a way to defeat superior technology by using its own perfection against it. As the battle wound down, Chen received reports from around the solar system. The alien fleet was in full retreat, their remaining ships fleeing at light speed. They had learned a costly lesson about the danger of underestimating human creativity. Looking at the devastation around them, Chen felt no triumph. Too many had died to achieve this victory. But they had proven something important, that humanity's greatest strength wasn't technology or power, but the ability to think differently, to find unexpected solutions, to turn apparent weakness into strength. 1 year after the Great Battle, Chen stood at a podium in the newly constructed Unity Space Center. Behind him, the massive window offered a view of Earth's transformed skyline, a mix of traditional buildings and newly grown crystal structures, human and alien technology working in harmony. We didn't just survive. He addressed the gathered crowd of international leaders and space crew veterans. We learned. We adapted. And most importantly, we stayed human. The victory over the alien fleet had changed everything. The recovered crystal technology, combined with human ingenuity, had accelerated Earth's development by centuries. But it wasn't the technological gains that mattered most. Our greatest victory wasn't defeating a superior force, Chen continued, gesturing to the crews who had fought alongside him. It was proving that human unpredictability, our chaos, our imperfection, these aren't weaknesses. They're our greatest strengths. The aftermath of the battle had brought its own challenges. Some wanted to completely adopt alien technology, to transform humanity into the very thing they had fought against. Others feared any use of the crystal ship's remains, wanting to destroy all traces of alien influence. But wisdom had prevailed. Under the guidance of people like Lin, who now led the Global Innovation Center, Earth found a balance. They learned to merge human creativity with alien precision, creating something entirely new. The aliens thought their perfect technology made them superior, Lin had explained during the first reconstruction meetings. But they forgot something fundamental: perfection doesn't evolve. It doesn't grow. Only imperfection, only chaos, creates new possibilities. This philosophy became the foundation of Earth's new direction. The crystal technology was studied and adapted, but always with human unpredictability built in. Ships were grown using alien methods, but designed to respond to human intuition. Defense systems incorporated both mathematical precision and randomness. More importantly, the experience had united humanity in ways previously thought impossible. Old conflicts seemed petty compared to what they had faced together. National boundaries became less important than the shared identity of Earth's defenders. Look around you, Chen told his audience, pointing to the various projects displayed in the center. Every advancement you see came from collaboration. Every breakthrough happened because someone dared to think differently, and others dared to listen. The new ships being launched incorporated lessons from both sides of the conflict. They used crystal technology for power and structure, but relied on human pilots making unpredictable decisions. the perfect blend of order and chaos. But perhaps the most significant change was in how humanity viewed itself. No longer did they feel inferior to more advanced civilizations. They had proven that technology alone didn't determine success, creativity, adaptability, and courage mattered more. "We've received signals from other alien civilizations," Chen revealed to the crowd. "Some hostile, some friendly. But now we don't face them with fear. We face them with confidence. But now we don't face them with fear. We face them with confidence, knowing that whatever challenges come, human ingenuity will find a way." Lin joined him at the podium, carrying a small crystal fragment that pulsed with inner light. "This isn't just a piece of alien technology," she explained. "It's a reminder. A reminder that sometimes the best solution isn't the most advanced one. Sometimes the best solution is the one no one else would think of." The crystal had been modified, merged with Earth technology in ways its original creators would never have imagined. It represented their new approach, taking the best of both worlds while maintaining their unique human perspective. "Our children will grow up in a different world," Chen concluded. "They'll have technologies we could only dream of. But our job is to ensure they never forget what made this possible. Not the technology we gained, but the human spirit that won the day." As the ceremony ended, Chen and Lin walked through the center's halls, passing displays showing Earth's new defensive fleet. The ships were beautiful, their crystal hulls reflecting light in ways that seemed almost alive. But unlike the original alien vessels, each one was slightly different, uniquely modified by its crew. "Do you think they'll come back?" Lin asked quietly, watching a training squadron practice new maneuvers outside the window. Chen considered the question carefully. "Maybe. But if they do, they'll find a different humanity waiting for them. Not just survivors anymore, but innovators. Not just defenders, but explorers." They stopped at the final display, a simple piece of twisted metal salvaged from one of the first Earth ships lost in the battle. Next to it stood a fragment of alien crystal, both pieces equally honored. "We won because we remembered who we are," Chen said, touching the display case gently. "Not despite our chaos, but because of it. Not despite our imperfection, but because of it. That's the lesson we need to carry forward." As they watched the sun set over the new Earth, ships of crystal and steel moving through the darkening sky, both knew that humanity had not just survived its greatest challenge, it had been transformed by it. Not into something alien and perfect, but into something uniquely human and wonderfully unpredictable. The future was uncertain, full of chaos and possibility. Just the way humanity liked it. The story concludes here, bringing together themes of human ingenuity, the value of imperfection, and the importance of staying true to who we are even as we advance. It offers hope while acknowledging the cost of victory, and shows how humanity can grow stronger through adversity without losing its essential nature.